In 1929, just outside of Beijing, explorers made an incredible discovery, a human skull dating back nearly 1.5 million years. This finding was monumental, as it seemed to link various human species from earlier periods. The skull became known as the Peking Man and was thought to belong to a native Chinese ancestor. For decades, this discovery fueled a belief that humanity's origins might be traced to Asia, not Africa. However, modern research has since transformed that narrative. Groundbreaking studies on the genomes of the current Chinese population have provided surprising insights, proving that humanity actually originated in Africa and that the Chinese, like all humans, are descendants of early Africans. But what are these revelations, exactly? Welcome, a channel dedicated to uncovering historical facts and stories that everyone should know, whether you're black, white, or any background. In today's video, we'll explore the ancient migration of Africans to Asia and how it contributed to the rise of darker-skinned Asian populations. We'll also dive into additional evidence beyond genetics that supports the idea that Asians are descendants of early African humans. This video will challenge your current perceptions of humanity's origins and the deep connection between Africa and Asia. The journey of human history often begins in Africa. It's a familiar story with recurring key figures and events, often referred to as the out of Africa theory. In this version of our evolution, Homo erectus, a human species, first emerged in Africa over 2 million years ago, marking the start of humanity's incredible migration across the world. Then, around 600,000 years ago or earlier, a new species of human known as Homo heidelbergensis emerged from Homo erectus. The earliest remains of Homo heidelbergensis were discovered in Ethiopia. Approximately 400,000 years ago, some of these individuals began migrating out of Africa, splitting into two distinct groups. One group ventured to the Middle East and Europe, eventually evolving into the Neanderthals. The other group moved east, becoming the Denisovians, who were first identified in Siberia in 2010. Meanwhile, the Homo heidelbergensis population that remained in Africa eventually gave rise to our own species, Homo sapiens, around 200,000 years ago. These early humans later spread across Eurasia approximately 60,000 years ago. While they did interbreed slightly with the local populations, they primarily replaced them over time. Homo heidelbergensis, believed to be a common ancestor of Neanderthals, Denisovans, and modern humans, exhibited a fascinating blend of both primitive and advanced features. This species marks a pivotal moment in human evolution, connecting the ancient and modern aspects of our shared history. Homo heidelbergensis shared certain traits with earlier humans, such as prominent brow ridges and the absence of chins. However, they also had features more similar to us, like smaller teeth and larger brain cases. Many scientists view them as a crucial transitional species, bridging the gap between Homo erectus and Homo sapiens. Unfortunately, the fossil evidence from this period is scarce, making it one of the least understood phases of human evolution. Adding to the mystery, fossils discovered in China over the past few decades have raised new questions. These findings challenge the once widely accepted idea that human evolution followed a straight line from African Homo erectus to modern humans. Instead, between roughly 900,000 and 125,000 years ago, East Asia was home to human-like beings with traits that fall somewhere between Homo erectus and Homo sapiens. These fossils are intriguing and puzzling. They appear more advanced than Homo erectus, yet don't fit neatly into any known human categories. Some researchers, like Chris Stringer, have grouped these Chinese fossils with Homo heidelbergensis. There's even a hypothesis that Homo heidelbergensis might have originated in Asia and spread to other parts of the world. However, the debate continues. Many scientists, especially in China, argue that these fossils are distinct from Homo heidelbergensis found in Europe and Africa, despite some shared characteristics. For instance, a remarkably well-preserved skull from 250,000 years ago discovered in China shows features that are more advanced than other Homo heidelbergensis specimens. This suggests that this group may have been evolving in a unique direction. These transitional forms seem to have persisted in China for a long time, with modern traits gradually emerging. One recent example is a fossil of a jawbone with teeth, found around 100,000 years ago. This fossil has a striking blend of modern and ancient features, adding to the complexity of human evolution in East Asia. A number of Chinese scientists, along with some Western researchers, believe that these transitional fossils might indicate that Peking man, an ancient human discovered in China, could be an ancestor of modern East Asians. They propose that Homo erectus in Asia may have mixed with populations arriving from Africa and other parts of Eurasia, and their descendants could be the ancestors of modern East Asians. Supporting this theory are stone tools found in China. Unlike in Europe and Africa, where tool making evolved significantly, China's tools remained simple and consistent from 1.7 million years ago up until about 10,000 years ago. This suggests that local humans in China may have evolved gradually, with less outside influence. However, migration alone doesn't give us the full picture. The genetic evidence makes things clearer. Enjoying the video so far? If you are, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on Black history and culture. Now, let's dive into the genetic evidence. Before the advent of DNA testing, determining genetic relationships between people was extremely challenging. For example, there was no reliable way to confirm paternity. However, with the invention of DNA and gene testing, scientists could finally trace genetic links and understand where different populations originated. Recent genetic studies of Chinese populations reveal that about 97.4% of their genes come from ancient humans who migrated out of Africa, with the rest derived from extinct groups like Neanderthals and Denisovans. Some scientists had speculated that genes from Chinese Homo erectus might be present in modern populations, but the genetic data doesn't support this. One possible explanation for these findings is that early modern humans left Africa and arrived in China between 120,000 and 80,000 years ago, which could explain some of the fossils found in the region. Another intriguing theory is that some of the Chinese fossils might actually belong to Denisovans, an ancient group discovered through fossils in Siberia. A more radical idea suggests that Eurasian hominids, early humans, may have evolved separately from their African counterparts for a long period. According to this theory, the first hominins that left Africa may have been the ancestors of modern humans. They settled in the Middle East, where they eventually gave rise to different groups like the Neanderthals, Denisovans, and ultimately, us. This idea implies that while modern humans evolved in Africa, our most immediate ancestors may have come from the Middle East. African civilizations, especially the Egyptians, have long been known for their monumental structures, like the pyramids of Giza. These massive stone blocks leave us wondering how they were built in ancient times. Interestingly, pyramids aren't unique to Egypt. They can be found in other regions too, suggesting that African people who migrated to different areas brought their architectural style with them. Archaeologists agree that Africa is the birthplace of humanity, from which humans spread across the world. Some even speculate that early Chinese emperors and dynasties may have had connections to Black African roots. In Xi'an, China, there are about 100 pyramid-like structures. These are part of the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor, also known as the Terracotta Army. This mausoleum, located about 30 kilometers east of Xi'an in Shaanxi province, was built around 5,000 years ago, coinciding with the construction of the pyramids of Giza. This could be compelling evidence that people of African descent may have had a role in the construction of these pyramids in Xi'an. While some argue that these structures are simply natural hills formed by erosion, other signs point to the possibility that small, ancient African populations may have contributed to their construction during the time of the Mu civilization. In fact, there is growing speculation that many of the pyramids around the world may have been built by people with African ancestry, based on what has been discovered inside these structures. While not everyone agrees with this theory, further research into the contents of pyramids in different regions could help uncover who built them. It wouldn't be too difficult to compare the design, engineering, and techniques used in the pyramids of Giza with those found in Xi'an. However, no archaeologist has yet pursued this idea deeply, perhaps to avoid uncovering a potential connection between Chinese and African civilizations. China's history holds a fascinating narrative about its earliest rulers. The very first known ruler, King Tu, and the initial dynasty are said to have African or Black origins. This early dynasty was followed by the Shang dynasty, which marked the beginning of China's unified civilization. During this time, they were referred to as Naqi, which some interpret as meaning black man in ancient Chinese. This name suggests that the entire dynasty may have had black roots. One of China's legendary emperors, Fu Kai, is described in some accounts as having black skin and curly hair. He is credited with establishing key governmental, social, and cultural systems, including the revered I Ching or Book of Changes, a foundational text in Chinese philosophy. The physical traits of these early rulers were said to reflect their African heritage, which contrasts with the appearance of modern Chinese people. Further evidence of this connection can be seen during the Ming Dynasty, founded by Emperor Hongwu, who was reportedly of Sudanese and Mongolian descent. His influence left a lasting mark on China. Interestingly, the origins of Shaolin Kung Fu are believed to have both Indian and African roots. The Shaolin Monastery's White Garment Hall in Hunan Province highlights this deep connection between Africa and martial arts in Asia. Additionally, archaeological studies have uncovered evidence of black communities in early Chinese history, further solidifying this ancient link. Chinese historical records contain reports of powerful kingdoms ruled by people with African ancestry. Legends and ancient texts describe small black people with distinctive features, further suggesting that the connection between China and Africa is more than just a theory, it's backed by evidence. However, this aspect of history isn't often found in mainstream textbooks. The significant role black people played in shaping Chinese dynasties has largely been overlooked or intentionally suppressed. These people weren't outsiders imposing their culture. They were native to China, with features that closely resembled those of black Africans. Did you know that many Chinese and Asian people share African roots? Around 97% of Chinese people carry genetic traces of African ancestry, often without realizing it. What are your thoughts on that? If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about these fascinating historical connections, be sure to subscribe to hit the bell icon to stay updated. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay tuned.